This goes in the front here. And to keep it in place, I have this 3D printed retainer, which just goes over the front like so. Probably I should have something in the back to stop the weight of it from flopping around, but it doesn't seem to be necessary at this stage, so I'm just going to leave it like that. The sides of the box will be left open to get a bit of airflow around there, and I've got a hole here so the cord can either go in through the side or through the back. Next up, I'll reattach the iron holder. I have this little steel rod and it just gets these plugs pushed in, and then there's a little washer to get the spacing right. So that goes in like that. The two plugs on either end are different diameters because the plastic holder for the solder has a tapered inner hole. And there we go, that rotates nice and freely. To keep the solder from going all over the place, I have this little doofy here. There we go. Next, I'll attach these, which go on at the front, like so. The next thing is this handle that I fabricated. This goes on at a slight angle to avoid obscuring the hole, which I totally didn't plan for. There we are. So pretty much the last thing is to install this system of joints and the clamps to the front. So this is replacing a system that I had in use for years. Just these bits of wood that are hot glued the end of the screw in there. Using these wooden clothes pegs to grip the wires was also really good. They've got a good amount of strength to them. They started to come loose here. I used 2 nails and some glue to make that joint. I didn't think that'd last 3 days when I made it, but look at that. So this knuckle joint is basically 4 pieces that fit together. There's nothing too special about the design except maybe for this notch here, which keeps the pieces sort of rotationally aligned so that when you put torque on the screw, it doesn't try to twist like this and clamp on the pipe that way. Sort of the pipe is only clamped inwards like that. That also acts as like a pivot point there. There's a 0.5 millimeter gap, and that gets squeezed down so it pivots there and clamps here. The only difference with this one is that it has a nice inset which retains the top of the hex bolt. I really like this 3D printed version, but it's too slippery. For one thing, it's too slippery this way. This is PLA, which is not very grippy. And the other thing is that the pipe sliding in and out of these holes is too slippery. So I took the time to make them out of wood, and I've just waxed these with some beeswax to make them slightly shiny and protect them a little bit. This one's a bit bigger, made out of harder wood, and this one's a bit smaller, but they both use the same 8mm bolts. I've got the nut epoxied into a little handle. Peg was the most difficult thing to design. So the gripper is designed on these pegs, which I got from the local grocery store. There's no need for a pin at the pivot point. It dovetails together. So that's the exact same way that these work, except they're a bit beefier, and they have wooden grips in order to have that same insulating effect. Good. That's it. Do you know what I've just realized? It's a scorpion. It is the soldering scorpion. Look at it. It's got the 2 pincers and it's got the tail. I didn't even think of that while I was making it. That's ridiculous. And we put it in there. I don't know why you'd ever solder these particular 2 wires together, but if you needed to, there you have it. Right, well, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that show and tell video. I'm pretty chuffed with how this guy has turned out, and the scorpion tail handle is an unexpected aesthetic feature that I thought would look a bit silly, but it makes it look so cute. It's a little scorpion.
Anyway, thank you very much for watching. See you next time.